Let's explore autistic history and the Autism Wars. This is part 46 of a series. So I am going to share with you the next part of this article I have written a couple of years ago about this era of autism organizations launching in the 90s and early 2000s. It is titled Inventing and then Cashing In on the Autism Epidemic. It is available in text on internationalbadassactivist.org. If you need to follow it along that way, it is available. So, whoa, we're going to jump right back here now. And we're under the section Autism, a real epidemic or better counting. All right, so we are back in this sub-community of the autism community would insist they aren't anti-MMRs. They were pro-safe MMRs, right? That's that V word I can't say, so I'll let your guessing do the resting. So perhaps there was an especially vulnerable population of children who didn't tolerate that medication and became autistic. Perhaps some kids had a genetic predisposition and became autistic with an environmental trigger. This wouldn't be all children, of course, just some children. Children like their tragically ill child. So now we're starting to hear about the new autism, a different autism, not like classic autism, but this autism is the reason for this upsurge in numbers that they're seeing, they say, right? All right, that's one front. Here's a kicker. Health insurance wouldn't cover complementary alternative medicine approaches to recover a child to be not autistic. It also wouldn't cover the very controversial, and it is still very controversial, has always been very controversial, but only has been normalized because of marketing by certain places. All right, so it wouldn't also cover the very controversial autism treatment applied behavioral analysis, or ABA, that was bankrupting, and it was bankrupting families with the promise and hope it would make their child less autistic. It's a lot of money. I think it was like $60,000 a year back then. All right, so parents decided to take action. In 1999, Kevin Murray, with his wife and some other parents, launched the Autism Coalition for Research and Education, or the ACRE, or I suppose you could just pronounce it ACRE. The Autism Coalition, okay, that's their short name. The Autism Coalition was formed to give a national voice to this devastating disorder and bring together the major nationally recognized research and education organizations, as well as many of the regional autism groups. Mind you, not a whisper of autistic groups. The coalition's main goal is to raise funds and disperse grants to existing autism organizations with established biomedical and applied research projects and services to the autism community. These fundraising ventures are also a means to raise national awareness of autism and the needs of the autism community. Although there were many competing and overlapping parent organizations advocating for autism, there was no single voice addressing the common concerns for the autistic community. Mind you, this is a quote I'm sharing, so when this person says autistic community, that is not the right community. They are referring actually to the autism community, because already at this era we know there are two distinctly different communities, the autism community and the autistic community, but you will not hear about the autistic community here. Nope. There is definitely a space we are not included. Legislation. Oh, I guess I wrote about that here. Interesting, the autistic community is mentioned in the last sentence because in this coalition, autistics were excluded. And welcome to the great silencing. Autistics were excluded and they knew who we were. This coalition only included parent-founded autism organizations. Parent-founded autism organizations. Let's see, the membership included Autism Society of America, Cure Autism Now, the Dan Marino Foundation, the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation, National Alliance for Autism Research, or NAAR, and Unlocking Autism. The single voice addressing concerns included the autism community, and it excluded the autistic community. You see what's happening here? Remember, 13 years of Autism Network International, ANI, is happening, and they are very aware of all of this. These are the autism organizations that were problematic for autistics to begin with. So, in the late 90s, the coalition was able to get legislation introduced and ultimately enacted. Parents and celebrities affiliated with this coalition testified in multiple Senate hearings on autism. All of them delivered their testimony drenched in tragedy and burden narrative. Autism propaganda and myth were presented as facts. It's astounding. I've watched the videos online of some of these hearings, and it's astounding. And it didn't matter that these parents' fears were already known to be unfounded. They were already known to be unfounded. It wasn't enough. The facts weren't enough to dispel the myth. This was a community of true believers, and they set out to proselytize more parents into their autism belief system. So yeah, they've set out to proselytize more parents into their autism belief system. And remember, when they get them, they're funneling them into these chat rooms and listservs and keeping them in their own special world of autism created by parents for parents. Would that be indoctrination? I'm not sure. Maybe. All right, autistics protested the false narrative and the legislative efforts these parents promoted to no avail. While parents planned a Hear Their Silence rally in 1999, autistics conducted a counter-protest online titled Hear Our Voices. It's not that these parent advocates couldn't hear autistics. They heard us. And they didn't like what was communicated. And they justified their actions to autistic activists, minimized concerns, and did what they wanted anyways. They did absolutely what they wanted anyways. Autistics be damned. Oh, yeah. So we're getting into it now. Oh, we're getting into legislation. We're getting into money. We're getting into an era. They don't even hide what they're doing like they do now. So I'm going to wrap this part up here, and we're going to pick up under the subhead in the next video. We're not sure if it's a real epidemic, and get into more of the spin that they gave this autism epidemic at congressional hearings in '99. So thank you so much for joining me and exploring autistic history.